How excited are you to have this event and to re-debut for 2024?
Yeah, I'm extremely excited. It's been, such a fun time off of golf, and obviously having Benton and spending the first few months with him at home. Yeah, it's been always a goal of mine to come back to travel as a family with my husband, who caddies for Nelly. For us to be able to do this, the three of us go on the road and just make new memories and just kind of start this new adventure together. It was just really cool, and obviously it's a little bit of a new perspective starting to play again. I think it's better than before, for sure. And I've put in a lot of work, so I'm just excited to get out there and hopefully enjoy my golf.
For those that can't see, Benton is just off to the right. Heard his mama's voice and made a cooing sound. Sophia, you actually made your debut in Tampa on the Ladies European Tour. What was it like getting back out and kind of having the first competitive event under your belt?
Honestly, a lot of what Kara just said. I think it was very exciting to have it be a little bit different, traveling with Maya, with my mom, and kind of having the whole crew and like trying to figure out the schedule. And honestly, for me, not spending so much time on the golf course, that was actually great. Like sometimes I'm out here and I'm like, oh, I'll hit a couple more chips, and next thing I know, I'm like, oh my God, it's 5 p.m. And so it kind of almost makes me leave the golf course earlier, which I think actually is beneficial to me. And I really just enjoyed playing. I saw Maya every now and then, which was kind of cool on the course. The second round was a little bit too long for my liking. I'm like, okay, I have to get adjusted to the long rounds again. But other than that, it was kind of a nice way to get into it. It's also a team event. I played with Bronte, who's a longtime friend of mine. So that was very easygoing. And and it was very fun. All in all, kind of a cool way to start the season for me.
And just for both of you, we have a lot of LPGA moms, it feels like, over the last couple of years here. Carol, I'll start with you. What has it been like getting back into that competitive mindset and back in that kind of getting ready for another competitive event?
Yeah, not easy. I mean, for sure. Like, I've always had so much respect for all the moms on tour, but it just doubled or tripled in the last few months. Not only like getting adjusted to having a baby and managing life just with the baby, but to come back on tour and put in all that work. I thought it was like really challenging physically to get back into golf shape. I hadn't really touched the club in a year, so obviously I kind of started at what felt like zero. So yeah, it's been not so easy, but a cool challenge as well. Like I touched on earlier, I think it's kind of almost refreshing after I think I've played for 13 years to get a little bit of a break and get a little bit of a new perspective and appreciation for what we've been doing, because it gets repetitive. You go year after year, you go to the same places. I think after a while you don't appreciate it as much. So just to build up that excitement and putting in the work and seeing the process and really getting a little bit better every day and every week has been really fun preparing for this.
She talks about perspective, Sophia. For you, and kind of we've heard from a lot of moms that come back to the tour and play again professionally after taking some time off to give birth and kind of reset to give birth. There's a lot of perspective when it comes to playing for my daughter, for my son, for my child. Do you feel that? Did you feel that a little bit, kind of getting to play in front of your little one?
Yeah, honestly, I think it just kind of it kept reminding me of like what's really important. That's important. I love to hear the cooing, the sounds, I really don't care how you play golf, Mom. Like, as long as you feed me after the round, we're all cool. But just kind of to what Carol said, honestly, it is so hard to get back into playing shape. Honestly, I would call her after like 5 months postpartum, and I'd be like, I feel horrible. Like, I am a total noodle. Like, I can't swing the golf club. Like, my body is so out of shape. Like, how am I ever going to be the same again? And I was like really nervous. I was like, oh my God, like everything changed. My body changed, everything. And I was like, man, this is what it's like. And I was like, all these moms already on tour totally underestimated what it's like to come back, to figure out a schedule, to play. But at the same time, when I was playing and I saw her, I go, but the actual playing is more fun now, because I just see her and I go after the round, I played fine, great. I didn't play well, it doesn't matter. Like it's a different it's different perspective, and I come off the golf course and will always have fun because I'm always hanging out with her. I won't like go back and be like, what happened on 13? I just won't care anymore. So I think that's great, and it's just very helpful. It's just very helpful. Also for this interview, just to watch him. Yeah, but it's just been nice that way.
All right, I'll open it up behind me. Anything over here? Maybe in front of you. There we go.
Sophia, if I know obviously your mom was an athlete. You kind of know what that's like having an athlete as a mom. But for you, really, I know you just kind of talked about it, but just how much respect do you have now for the physical challenges of going through all of that? I know I talked to Kara a little bit yesterday of the core's gone, like you just don't have a body anymore. But just how much from maybe even external athletes do you just really respect like the ability to come back and play at this level?
Yeah. So actually, as an example, I was home over the summer, had just given birth in June, and I was watching Wimbledon, and I was watching Alina Svitolina come back. And she was 8 months postpartum, and she made it to semifinals. And I was sitting on the couch going, there is no way at 8 months I'm going to be able to do this. Like, I am just so out of shape. And at that time, it feels to you like forever. It feels like you are really, you're doing a core exercise that is so like basic, and it's so exhausting, and that's where you have to start off. And your core, like I had a lot of ab separation, so you're trying to get your abs back working, functioning. You hit a golf ball and you're like, man, I need my core a lot. I didn't even realize that before. Like it comes naturally and you take it for granted. You go, yeah, I was in shape, fine. But now it's like a whole different thing. It's like I do all my exercises that are just to get my body in shape and then for golf. So just like the respect I have, not just for the golfers out here, but for all the female athletes that get back into track, into tennis, into swimming, into all these into all these sports. It's wild. I totally underestimated it, and I just like now I'm just like all go moms everywhere because we've been through it now, and you just know what it takes.
And for both of you, obviously like Megan mentioned, there's a younger legion of moms. It's kind of, I know Stacy's class had a little bit of a group, but how cool is it for you guys to all do this together? I know Jess just had her nugget. Lindsay Weaver Wright just ran a half marathon last week, but to have this group of women.
That's wild.
And even if you all want to comment on that, but to have this group of women to really go through this and learn together, I know it's not always the easiest.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. It's like you said, a little bit of a generation kind of getting to this age where I think we're all starting families, and it's fun to share the journey. And I think that's kind of what we've been doing. You kind of go through pregnancy a little bit together, and then you just learn from each other, and you just talk, and because everybody's kind of feeling the same way, and it's nice to have people in the same situation that you've known for a very long time, going through the same things, and just kind of connecting over that. So yeah, I think we'll be, now we're the experienced moms here.
And helping each other out. It's like she texted me and I'm like, I'm coming up 9. She's like, Benton fell asleep in the car. And I'm like, oh, I know. Okay, there's a serious situation. So how about this is the game plan? And like we actually can be there for each other too to help out with the kids, which is also great because I think you only understand that scenario when you have a baby. You're like, oh no, they fell asleep in the car. We need to keep them asleep. So what are we going to do now? And like coming up, like just texting a game plan, like how are we going to get to the presser with the baby? I think that's also kind of just as an example.
Totally. Have the kids get together like down the road in the future, and help each other out. And it's a new part of our life now, and I think we're both like super excited to start it, and just to be able to do that and combine it with playing golf out here on the LPGA tour with the best players in the world is really, really cool. And I think we're gonna enjoy it that little bit more than I think we've had, and we're gonna appreciate it. It's not gonna be forever. You realize that when you're out of it for a little bit. So I think these next few years should be really fun.
Yeah.
And just final one for me, for both of you, what was the reasoning behind the timing? I know obviously, some girls go out and try to do that kind of early in their career. Some people do it later. I mean, for you, both of you, what went into that timing? Because it is a challenge when you're a young female athlete of really when this lovely business starts being a mom.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jason and I, like with COVID, we had such a hard time getting married that, you know, like everything seemed to be like maybe delayed a couple of years. But I mean, we planned this for a long time. You know, I think you're always waiting for the perfect time, and the perfect time really never comes around because there's always things you want to do, you want to achieve. And, you know, I mean, I went into pregnancy basically thinking, okay, I'd love to play golf again professionally, but you know, there's also a good chance that it won't happen. So and I was content with that. I felt like I've you know, done good things in my career, and I mean, you know, you always think you could have done better, but I really didn't feel like I had that much to prove left. So, you know, either way, I would have been okay. And I think that was a very nice feeling, nice situation to be in, and really, you know, be able to focus on him and our family. And then, obviously, yeah, if I get the chance to play again, I'll do it. And like I said, we'll start this new chapter as a family. But I think just knowing that there's no perfect time, and that whenever it happens, it's going to be amazing. And there's many possibilities after having a baby, you know, in terms of playing or doing something different too, which is super exciting.
I agree. Just to kind of piggyback on that, I think there is no perfect timing, and I think for me it was kind of a thing that it was kind of a planned. We didn't want to wait too long, and I wanted to maybe be able to play still while after having a baby. I didn't want to wait so long personally because I don't know. Having a family was always kind of a dream of mine, and just I've always wanted that too. And to be able to do both now is obviously a blessing, and it's tough. It's really tough, but it's enjoyable. And I think some just decide to do it after their careers. Some decide to do it during, and sometimes the timing it happens. Like you can't fully plan these things. And just as a female athlete, I think that's always hard. And I think it's so underrated and not very talked about a lot. Is like, if you want both things, then how can you do it? And can you play, and can you do your sport while having a kid, and all these things? So I don't know. For us, it just worked out well. It happened to be basically almost the same timing as Caro. It just like happened to work out that way. So can't even tell you exactly if it was planned or not, but now I'm happy about it.
Hey, and you can get through a press conference with a little one too.
I know.
All right, I'll go behind me right here.
Okay, so going back a little bit, how does making your first start from coming back compare to your very first start, your LPGA debut?
That's an interesting question. I feel like my first start, that was in 2015, was just very nerve-wracking, but I was so young at that point. I was like, it was a totally different thing. Now, I mean, just having not played for about a year and a half, coming back, I know what it's like to be out here. I know what it's like to play. I mean, I had to figure out where to pick up my credential, but like all that stuff kind of like I forgot. I'm like, oh, I have to go here and I have to go there, and the planning part. But just being out there now and even playing the Pro-Am, I'm like, oh yeah, this is like, it's kind of second nature. We've done it for so long. I think the first time you come out as a rookie, it's very nerve-wracking. You're like not sure how to handle certain situations. You're nervous. Not to say I won't be nervous on the first tee. I always am. But I definitely think it's different because now coming back, it's like I've done this before. I'm enjoying it. And I think there's less pressure. I put less pressure on myself, because if it works out, great. If I play good golf, that's awesome. If I don't, like I said, I have my family. I have so much support from home. I have all these things to do. You know, it is what it is. So I've just noticed these last few days of just practicing, I've been more relaxed than I previously had been just practicing. So I think I would actually say I'm overall just a lot more of a mature person at this point than I was 2015.
I can agree. You are. No.
I'll wrap it with just one last one, kind of just about this overall tournament. For the both of you, SERI PAK has her name behind this event this week. She stated how much she's wanted to come back and kind of give this back to the LPGA Tour, and how this has been a dream for you. What does it mean to have, we have the Annika and now having something like the SERI PAK Championship? What does that mean to players like you?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely amazing. I think SERI is obviously one of the legends of the game. Like the impact she has had on women's golf has been amazing. I've always, I love her personally too. Honestly, like I feel like she's been, always like the nicest person. She's been. I don't know. She kind of comes across as a little bit of a mom, and in a way, like when you see her, she's very. I don't know, it just comes across so like normal and down to earth, which is awesome. So I think for us to have these legends still associated with the LPGA and with our tournaments is awesome. We all look up to them, and I'm sure there's a lot of girls picking their brains too while they're here. So definitely a cool tournament to come back. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I was going to say for you too, Sophia, being a USC grad and coming back to an event like this,
Yeah.
having her name behind it, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's also kind of cool, not just to have her name behind the event. It's always cool to have the legends of our sport connected to these events. I think it's big. It's big for the tour. I think it'll just continue to go that way. Just for these players to stay involved and be around for the next generation is very cool, because these are the people that we looked up to playing, and I think we're getting to be part of that generation where, if we, at the end of our careers, like we're kind of that next generation to the rookies now. So I think that's very interesting. And then for me, just being back here as an SC alum is fun, because I've been here a lot. Never learned how to play the golf course, but but I like it a lot, and the views are really nice. But it's kind of nice to be so close to SC. We drove past the campus yesterday. I see so many supporters that we had in college that came out and already said hi, and that part of has been great too. So it's kind of a neat place for me to start my LPGA season.
All right. We will wrap it here so you can get back. And thank you guys for joining us, and best of luck this week.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
having
guys.
us.
Yeah, I know. Him and Maya, they can talk about it.
Good job, Ben. You did so good. That was amazing.